Hello and welcome to Warrior Cooking. Now today I'm out with the Onetigris stove and I'm making myself some breakfast, and I'm going to make super duper chicken and bacon sandwiches with courgette, peppers, mushrooms, tomatoes and a nice big squirt of mayonnaise. So these are going to be a really tasty breakfast. And it's only early, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning at the moment. So let's load up Onetigris, get him into life. So I'm just putting a little bit of tissue paper in there, and then I'm just going to rip up some normal paper, throw it in on top. No firelighters or nothing like that, I never use them. That's another little stove you can see there. See that little stove my cuppy's standing on? That is a Avenue titanium TI stove. It's a good little stove, that one, for making a coffee and that, but it is quite hard work to cook on. It's a bit small. But I have already had that one going this morning because I made myself a brew on it before I started doing this. Can use that little stove with a trangia. It's good to use as a trangia stand because it's so light, that little stove, to carry about. So I'm just putting some nice dry twigs into Onetigris, and this should light up all right today. It normally goes up well, this Onetigris. It is a good stove to light. It's an easy one. In fact, it's a really good stove to use full stop, this Onetigris, because it is very easy to cook on and very easy to light. So let's just put a couple more twigs in there, a couple of a little bit bigger ones, and let's get me lighter and light it up. And I'm confident this stove should go up no problem today. It's not windy, them twigs are nice and dry, so this thing should go straight up. And there, look, no dramas. Onetigris has gone straight up, ready for a bit of cooking. So I'm going to start with slicing up my tomato, and again these tomatoes are grown by the nice man who lives next door. So these will be really fresh and really tasty because he does grow a good tomato, my next door neighbour. They're so much nicer than the ones you buy in the supermarket. I just get rid of that little middle bit because I don't like that bit. And what I'm going to do is just slice these end bits up small, and I shall fry them little bits up with everything else, and then the big slices I shall put in my sandwiches as they are, with a nice bit of lettuce. So that's the tomato all chopped up. So next I've got a nice bit of courgette with me, so I'm going to do the same, chop that up into little chunks and fry it up. And it's a good one, courgette, in things like this. Fried up on a twig stove, courgette is really tasty. But a lot of people don't think to use courgette. You wouldn't think that putting this in a sandwich would work. But if you're frying it up on a twig stove, it really is a good one to use. And I use it a lot in things because, again, my next door neighbour grew this courgette, so I get them for nothing off my neighbour. So you'll see me use courgettes quite a lot. Whenever he's got some ready, he always gives me a few. And like first time I sort of used it in something, I thought it was a bit weird, but then I had it and I thought, right, I'm going to use that more often. That really is nice, courgette cooked on a twig stove. There's lots of things out there like that you wouldn't think would work, but when you try them, they do work. And you'll see with me, I do lots of strange combinations of things, because over the years I have tried out everything. And I don't like waste, so if I've got something in my fridge that needs using, I will bring it out and try it on a twig stove and mix it with other things and see if it works or not. And I have done some strange ones that don't work. You eat them and you think, oh, I'm not doing that again. But quite often you do something and it does really work. Like this courgette, fried up and put in a sandwich. It is a good one, you should try it. So I've got a nice little bit of lettuce to chop up here. And no, I didn't get it off my neighbour. I bought that lettuce. He does grow lettuce, but he hasn't got none ready at the minute. So I've just got a little bit more lettuce to chop up. Might as well use it all up today. And then I shall put that in my cup out of the way until I need it in a minute to put in the sandwiches. So just chop it up a little bit smaller. And that's it, lettuce chopped and put out of the way. So next I have got a nice bit of red pepper to slice up. So again, I should chop the red pepper into little chunks and just fry it up with that courgette and tomato. So I've got a bit of yellow pepper as well. I use peppers a lot. I do really like peppers cooked on a twig stove. They get a really good flavour. So slice that up into little bits. And then I've got a little bit more red pepper to chop up. So just slice that up to little bits, and then it'll cook nice and quick. Because if you have big chunks of pepper, it does take quite a long time to cook them. But if you do them really small, they cook nice and quick. So I'm just going to get a few more twigs into Onetigris so he doesn't go out. Get a few bigger ones in there now, keep him going for a little while. And you do have to keep an eye on these twig stoves, because 1 minute they are burning away lovely and the next minute they just go out. So you just have to get in the swing of just keeping an eye on it. Once you've used one a few times, you'll get the hang of it. You'll know when it needs more twigs put in it. And once you've used one for a long time, you just do it without even thinking about it. You've sort of always got one eye just checking the fire in the stove. But trust me, no matter how much experience you have with a twig stove, now and again your stove will go out because you'll get carried away chopping, or you'll start talking to someone, you'll turn back round and the stove has gone out. And that is just all part of the fun of using a twig stove. So I've got some little butter mushrooms with me. I'm just going to chop them up into little tiny bits. And then all this lot I should just put in the frying pan and fry it up together. And then I've got a little bit of bacon with me to chop up, and I shall put that in with this lot and fry it away. And then I've got some ready cooked chicken with me, because again I cooked a nice big roast chicken the other night and I made a curry out of it, and I had some left over, so I'm going to use it in my sandwiches today. Because I always do that. I get a nice big roast chicken, cook it in the air fryer, and then use it for whatever I'm going to do that night. And then I always have some left over for other dishes. And I'm not made of money, so buying like a whole chicken and cooking it and getting a few dishes out of it is really a good one for me. And I do really like the taste of chicken as well. It is one of my favourite meats, so it's not like I'm just cooking chicken because it is cheap. The fact that it is cheap is like an added bonus, because I do really like chicken. So that's all that lot up into the frying pan. So I'll just move it all about a little bit, spread it out so it starts cooking nice and even. And then I should get my bacon, start chopping that up, and then throw that in the frying pan with this lot. So that's that lot spread out. So let's start cutting my bacon. And I've only got a little bit of bacon with me today, but it'll be enough to add some nice bacon flavour to my sandwiches. And I have to use the bottom of my fire tin now, because what I was chopping on was my frying pan. So as soon as I put the pan on, I've lost my chopping board. But this little tin is big enough to cut that bacon up on. So let's throw that lot into the pan, get that cooking away, and then all I really need to do then is put the chicken on at the end and just warm it through, because the chicken is already cooked. So I'll just spread the bacon out with the other stuff so it all starts cooking nicely. And let's start loading up my sandwiches. So I've got some nice seeded brown bread with me. That bread will be really tasty. I do like the brown seeded bread. So let's get me lettuce out of the cup. So put some lettuce in that one. Some lettuce in the other one. Bit of tomato in that one. Bit more tomato. Spread the lettuce out. I could have done with a bit more lettuce, but that's all I had with me today. Rocket would work nice in these. If you didn't have lettuce, a bit of wild rocket would go lovely in these. So that's it. The sandwiches are ready for this lot. So let's give that lot a stir round. And you see what I mean? It really hasn't taken long to cook this lot. And you'll find that when you start using Twig stoves, you'll learn that stuff really does cook fast on them, because they are kicking out a load of heat. So you'll probably find, if you're like new to using a Twig stove, in the beginning you will sort of burn stuff because you won't realise how fast it's going to cook. But don't be put off by that. Don't start using a Twig stove and think, oh, that's hard work, you just burn everything, because everybody burns stuff in the beginning when they start using Twig stoves. But it doesn't take long and you'll get the hang of how quick stuff cooks, and then you'll be cooking with a Twig stove no problem. And once you get the hang of a Twig stove, they are easy to use. I think they are the best way to cook outside a Twig stove. They are my favourite way, because I just like the bit of getting the twigs and doing it all. With a gas stove, it's easy, innit? You just turn it on, away you go cooking. But with a Twig stove, there's a little bit of a procedure that's involved in doing it, and I like all that. And I do think in the end, you get better tasting food off of a Twig stove, because everything gets a nice smoky flavour. Where you don't get that, do you? With a gas stove or a trangia, you don't get that smoky flavour, but you do with a Twig stove. And the other thing I like about the Twig stove is, once you've bought the stove, you never need to buy fuel for it. You can always find twigs. So like the gas stove and the trangia, you're forever buying gas for 'em or buying spirit. But with a Twig stove, once you've bought the stove, that's it. You can just cook everything for free. Now I will start using gas stoves and doing trangia cooking and all that on the channel, because I want this channel to be about all types of cooking, not just like Twig stoves. So I do use all them other stoves, and I will get some of my ones out and use them on the channel, because I have got a lot of stoves. I've got a lot of gas stoves, I've got a lot of transias and that. I've been doing this outdoor cooking like for years and years, so I have got quite a collection of gear. So that lot's not far off done really, because I only needed to warm the chicken through. That is already cooked, the chicken, and the rest of it in that pan, that is more or less done. So I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes. I should put a few more twigs into the Twig stove, because it is just about to go out the stove. So let's just put a couple of twigs in there and just cook everything through, so all them flavours mixed together for a couple of minutes. Get a nice smoky flavour going on with that chicken, and then I shall take everything off and load up the sandwiches. And once you get the hang of these Twig stoves, you can adjust the heat and that on them. People say you can't, but you can. You do like what I do, because I want to quickly cook this lot, get a bit of a smoky flavour going on with all of it. All I've done is put some little tiny twigs in there, and they will catch super fast and just give you like 2 minutes of super heat. And that's all this needs. If you don't want super heat, you just put bigger twigs in, and then it'll burn longer but at a bit of a lower temperature. And if you want a right low temperature, you burn all your twigs down until you get a nice bed of embers in the bottom of the stove, and then you cook on that. I don't really do that much because it takes a long time. I more cook on the flames because it is just so much faster, and I'm just used to doing it. People say, oh, you should never cook on the flames. I cook everything on the flames. You've just got to turn it about more so it doesn't burn. And this frying pan helps with cooking on the flames. Because this frying pan is like a thick cast iron one, it's much better to cook on the flames with. If you've got a really thin little frying pan, when you're cooking on flames, that frying pan will get so hot that you will just burn everything super quick. So if you plan on using Twig stoves a lot, try and get yourself a thicker frying pan. Thicker the better. Well, within reason, because I've got some big, really thick cast iron ones, and they're excellent to use on a Twig stove, but I can only use them at home in the garden. You are not taking them out hiking or anything like that, because they weigh an absolute ton. I would take them if I was going car camping, but I'm not carrying them around in my rucksack. Whereas this one, although it's quite thick, it's not that heavy, this one. It is a lot heavier than like a little thin one, but it's not really heavy, this one, so you can carry this one about, no problem. So I'm done with that lot. That is all cooked, so I'm calling it on that and going to load up my sandwiches, because I am really hungry now. This lot smells so good. I am really hungry and looking forward to my breakfast. So these are going to be tasty. You know these are going to be good, innit? Look at them. They are a nice pair of sandwiches. Let's get some more into that one. Last bits into this one. Oh, I'm dropping it everywhere, but never mind. I shall pick them bits up at the end. Get them last bits out. There you go, sandwiches are loaded. Super duper chicken and bacon sandwiches with courgette, mushrooms, tomatoes, lettuce and peppers. And I will give them a nice big squirt of mayonnaise, because mayonnaise will go really well in these. Hot sauce would go well in these, and a bit of reggae sauce would be nice in here, but I've only got mayo with me today, that is why I'm using it. I nearly bought piri piri sauce out, but then I thought, no, let's just take mayo. So there you have it, look, they look good, don't they? So what you waiting for? Soon as this video finishes, get your Twig stove out. Get out and cook yourself some super duper chicken and bacon sandwiches. Warrior style, with a big squirt of mayonnaise. So let's pop the lids on. Yeah, and they are looking good. I'm really going to enjoy them. I'm going to make myself another brew while the stove is still going. And then I'm going to tuck into the pair of them. And that is a nice breakfast. That is better than a bowl of cereal. That is a real breakfast. Cooked outside on a Onetigris Twig stove. So what are you waiting for? Don't get your cereals out. Get your trangier out. Or your gas stove. Or your Twig stove. Get outside and cook yourself some tasty super duper chicken and bacon sandwiches. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and then you can join me again and find out what I am cooking next time.